What's up, guys? Thass here. So I'm gonna make a quick video about my add-ons. It's something that I've been hit up about on some of my other YouTube videos I've done with Foxer and on my stream about just some of the add-ons and stuff that I use and how I set stuff up for me personally, and just kind of little things that can help you as a tank in M+ to kind of help with your keeping your mitigation up, knowing when you have things, and also knowing what your team has as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump over here and I'll show you some of these add-ons. So first things first I want to go over is weak auras. The way I have my weak aura set up is all of my like my basic rotations and some of my defensives, but like my basic rotation and some of my CC and my kick, right? Like I have weak aura here, as you can see here. I have them right above my nameplates of where I'm set up as. I really like all of my stuff below me instead of, you know, a lot of other people will have, you know, weak auras kind of all up here and all over the place. I like all my weak auras literally just right on my nameplates. So while I'm looking down, you know, to watch my health and stuff like that, when I glance down, I can see what I have active. This is a big one. I think every tank, if you're gonna play tank in M+, I think you should make a weak aura like this, and they're really easy to make. This is my shield block weak aura. So every time I press shield block, it tells me I have shield block for 6 seconds. It lights up. Okay, there's my shield block. It also tells me how many charges I have left and when my next charge is up. So this is really important for any tank to make sure that you have your mitigation up. All right, so that's number one. Number two is, as you can see here above these, this is 5-plate buffs. Now a lot of this stuff is preference on what you like. I know a lot of people have different nameplates. They use like Plater or they use LVUI or whatever you use. You know, whatever you're comfortable with or what you've been using, don't change any of that. But you want to make sure that you have some kind of add-on or some sort of UI set up to make sure that you can see, you know, your buffs and your debuffs on your target, right? Like when, you know, make sure your deep wounds are up. You can see when they're stunned, right? You see all of this stuff. Like that right there is big debuffs. So that stun, that big thing right there, that's big debuffs, okay? It also shows here. I don't run with big debuffs on. I've been PvPing a little bit on my warrior, but you can use big debuffs if you would like. If you go, I'm gonna go in here to add-on, no, not that. Add-ons, big debuffs is it's really good, right? Like you can see it there. I toggle test. Like it's really nice to have. You can use big debuffs or 5-plate buffs. Don't use them both because, as you can see, they kind of overlap a little bit, right? They overlap a little bit. Like the stun would have showed up here and here. So use one or the other. I use 5-plate buffs in PvP, and I use big debuffs in PvE, and then I use big debuffs in PvP. So this is really important to make sure you know when all your buffs are up with CC, what CC's left, when they're silenced, you know, how long left on the fear, your slows, all that good stuff needs to be here so you can see what is on your mobs when you're tanking, right? So this is my thunderclap slow, right? Moving, that needs to be up at all times, right? So 5-plate buffs or big debuffs are really good to use. Don't use them both at the same time because it gets a little messy. Another one that I use quite often is ability team tracker. Now you can't see this because I'm not in a group, but what this does here is now you can go in here and add whatever you want to like you can add trinkets, you can add all the stuff that's new in the game. You can add all of it, whatever you want. But what this does is when you're in a group and you have your raid frames here, all of your like your healers cooldowns, all your teammates cooldowns will be, you can position it wherever you would like, but they'll be I use mine to the left because I have raid frames here and everything goes to the left here. So it'll show me stuff like wings, sack, all of this stuff is really important to have, so you know when your healer has something and you can call for it, right? Or when your DPS has something and you can call for it. This is really, this one I'll probably say is one of the more important ones. because you really need, as a tank, especially in M+, like a lot of stuff relies on you to make call outs, right? You need to, hey, I'm in trouble. Hey, I need these guys slowed. Hey, I need this. Hey, okay, DB this next one. I need you to do this. Like you as a tank, you know, you're the head honcho in your group when it comes to M+. So this right here, having this and getting used to using this and looking at it to make sure you know when stuff is up is really, really, really important. So this is a big one. The rest of my UI, I'm not really gonna go over just because I think all that stuff is so personal preference, right? Like the way I have it up with dominoes and easy frame and stuff like that, all of this stuff is personal preference. You use whatever you want to use, right? And it's the same thing with where I use for my kicks, right? So I have my kicks lined up with my DBM announcements. So all my DBM announcements and all the kicks show up here. Okay, so you know when a boss ability is coming and or a trash ability is coming, it'll show up here, and when someone uses a kick, it'll show up here that it's on cooldown. I personally like to use that one. There are a lot of other ones that are, you know, a little different that you can use, but most people have DBM. If you have DBM, you have DBM interrupts, right? Just go turn it on, and you can set it up how you like. But a kick tracker is, I would say, the most important thing to have in M+, especially as a tank, because you're the one, again, making all the call outs. Okay, you need to know what kicks are up, and you need to, okay, my kick next. You know, and you got to call out your group's kicks, and that will let you know whose kick is up and whose kick isn't up. So again, that's one's preference. I don't care what kick tracker you use, but use a kick tracker. It is really, really, really important. Another thing I want to go over is, this is something I get asked about a lot, and it's a weak aura. And if you stop by the stream, I'll be more than happy to give it to you. It is this right here. Where's it at? I don't think it'll show unless I'm in a key, which is unfortunate. But this is it shows up right here. And what's really good about this weak aura here is it shows you when you go into a pack, it'll highlight for your percentages that you're getting pride afterwards. It's really, really important, you know, when you're getting your prides, especially if you're new to tanking and you don't really know the dungeons yet, you don't know the percentage, you don't know what ads give what count. It helps out so much to be able to look over here, or wherever you want to put it, and see that, okay, I know that pride is coming in this pack. Okay, now once you get a little more experience, you'll if you watch my stream, you hear me call out, okay, the next thing that dies is pride, right? So depending on your group, depending on the trash, depending on the affixes, that could be a good or bad thing, right? So if a Smalley is dying and you have two kind of elites up, and the Smalley's about to die, and you make the call out as a tank, like, hey, the next thing that dies is pride, then what that tells your team is they need to stop focusing whatever has the least health and focus what has more health, right? So you don't have a pride plus add shenanigan, right? So this is really, really important. I advise everyone to have this as well. If you want it, literally you can either go to Waggo right here and type in this exact thing, or just come by the stream and I can give it to you there as well. So that's also really important. What else? What else is there? The rest of the stuff, like, again, the rest of the stuff is all personal preference, right? I use details, I use DBM. My UI setup is based how I want it. I don't like LV UI. I think it's way too much. So I just kind of, took a bunch of different add-ons and made my own. So all of that stuff is preference, and where you want your frames and all that stuff is preference. The last thing I want to go over is, where's it at? We'll go interface. You should use raid style party frames, even if you're not a healer or anything. I know I've run with some DPS and stuff who don't do this. You should 100% do this, right? When you turn this on and turn it into this right here. Auto activate when, you can just do 5, whatever. I use it in arena as well, so that's why I have all this done. You need to use this. Make sure that you have, and you can set like your You can play with your style, you know, the height and width of wherever you want to position it, but you want to use this because seeing your team's health is really important, right? Like knowing when all your team is going to die and how low they are is really, really important. Even as a DPS player, or you know, well, obviously as a healer, but as a tank, as a DPS player, like this is stuff that's really important. You need to see all this information. And if you have ability team tracker, it's not going to show up on the basic, it's not going to show up properly on the basic if you don't use the raid style party frames. It's so much easier to see all that information if you have raid style party frames with ability team tracker, and everything will show up like nice and pretty. If I could get someone into a group, I could, let me see if I can get somebody into a group real quick. Let's see if he'll join. Hold up for a VOD. Okay, so this is perfect. If you see here, this is raid style party frames. This is where I have it. Okay, so like this is where I have all of, like it'll come all the way down here, and if you know in the group, you'll see all of their cooldowns. You can have a lot more of visibilities turned on, like it's just kick. There's this wall. You'll see stuff like healing stream totem, cap totem, all of the other like utility and M+. You can turn all that stuff on. I don't run with a shaman a bunch, so I didn't really, you know, do the shamans, but like I said, you can go into ability team tracker right now. Like we'll just go in there real quick. This is really important, right? So you go in here, go to class, go to Chamois, right? Earthbind totem when he has lust, Tremor when he has Ankh, which is really important. We don't need Hex. You can track everything on here, man, right? Like this is real. Like, see now all this stuff shows up. It's really important that you know this stuff. It's really important that you know who has what for the group, right? So this is, again, I said, besides having a kick tracker, this is probably the next big thing. You want to get used to using raid style party frames and have ability team tracker, because it really, really helps you when you want to progress and helping your group, because M+ is all about the group. It's not about the individual. It's all about helping the group, what you can do better to make your group and their key experience better as whatever role that you're playing. So those two things, man. If you have any other questions, I will be more than happy to answer any of them. Literally just come by the stream, right? Just come by the stream. I stream all the time. Just come by the stream and ask me any questions. I'll answer them as many as you want. There's no dumb question, and you can ask the same question over again. I'm not gonna get mad at you. Come by the stream, say what's up, and if you have any questions about any add-ons or anything that I do personally, just come say hi. Peace.